guy like Lambo on your side, how does that affect your play calling? And in the current situation where things are a little unsettled, how does that affect it in a different way?
I'm sorry, when I have who on my side?
When you have a guy like Lambo as your kicker, when he's healthy and he's
Oh,
kicking, does that affect your play calling to have a kicker like him? And how is the current situation affecting your decisions in any way?
you know what? I think Coach Marone does a great job of communicating with me on third down and medium if it's a go for it, two down situation possibly. But it doesn't affect my play calling at all. Obviously, any kicker that's here, we assume that they'll make their kicks. Unfortunately, we missed a couple last week, but shouldn't have an effect. We're always trying to get the first down or trying to score anyway, so should not have an effect.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you, Spencer. Let's go Gene and then Shipley.
Hey, Jay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we got you.
In the NFL rankings right now, you guys are lowest in percentage for running the ball. I know some of that is a function of fourth quarter being behind, but is that a concern for you?
Yeah, for sure. That's every week our design is to go in there and run the football, pound the football. Unfortunately, I've done a poor job of sticking with it. So it's something we have to obviously get better at and be aware of the game, the situation, and all that. Obviously, sometimes late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, if you take out that part of the game in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's hard to run the ball. But we do have to do a better job early in games to try to maintain the run and keep our linemen pounding the rock a little bit and keeping the pressure off Gardner.
As a follow-up, on 15 of 16 plays in last Sunday's game, James Robinson was not on the field when you guys were inside the Texans' 30-yard line. Is that something that you kind of feel should be a little bit more balanced between him and Chris Thompson, or do you just kind of feel like, that's just the way it rolls with Chris being the third down back?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there a couple of might have been 2-minute situations where Chris is our third down back, and he's the guy that runs the option routes and the choice routes in the backfield. So that could have been the case. Maybe they're third down as well. But obviously, we'd like to have Chris or James in there. I don't know if it was 15 or 16, but we had a couple of packages where he might have been out of the game. But for the most part, James should be in there unless it's 2-minute or third down.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Gene. Let's go over to John Shipley and then Jamal.
Hey, Coach. Earlier in the season, you guys were really efficient in the red zone, and then on Sunday, there were some issues there. Can you just talk about what you guys have to do to kind of find some consistency there?
Yeah, very disappointing. I think you got to stay balanced down there for sure. We tried to hit a run in there and then got stuffed up the middle, and then we tried a couple play action passes. Didn't work out the way we thought. And obviously, with the first third down where we hit LaVisca on the wide, it was a poor design. That was on me. So, obviously, we've been very efficient down there. It gets tough down there a lot of times. Some of these defenses, they got the edges secure. They got the safety down there. It's hard to run the ball. They're in jam fronts. You want to try to throw it a little bit, but we do have to do a better job of trying to pound it in there like we did against Miami. Obviously, James scored 3 times against Tennessee. So that'll be a focal point. But we also, there's some looks that are very good to throw the ball. We got to win our one-on-one matchups. We got to throw the ball out there in tight windows and make some plays. Didn't happen for us on Sunday, obviously.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Shipley. Let's go Jamal and then Jordan.
Hey, Coach. Gardner's been sacked 16 times this year so far. That's good for the 4th most in the NFL. Do you put that more on the offensive line or on Gardner holding the ball too long? And how do you guys fix it?
Yeah, there's a combination of things. Some of them were protection based. We blocked the wrong guy occasionally. Some of them, Gardner held the ball probably too long, trying to make something happen. You look at the first third down of the game last week. He scrambled out of there. We didn't get anybody open. He tried to buy some time and got tackled for a 1-yard loss or what have you by Cunningham. So there are some of those instances where he's trying to make something happen outside the pocket. But, it's a combination. Sometimes receivers maybe not getting open. Sometimes it's line related. Sometimes it's score related. He's just trying to make some time, buy some time, and it doesn't work out.
Thanks, Jamal. Let's go over to Jordan.
Hey, Coach. Wondering if you guys look at the efficiency stats from receivers in terms of like catch rate and things of that nature, and if that affects how you game plan and how you want to get the ball out to your certain guys.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having a training camp or OTAs and all that stuff. You really get to know as a coordinator who's the most consistent in that regard as far as getting open and separating in man coverage. Some of our zone coverages, obviously, they're coverage dependent where the ball should go. But the man matchups, you try to match your best player against their player. Sometimes your best player gets their best player and they feel good about it. Sometimes they can double your best player. Other people have to win. So it's a combination of things. I feel good about all our guys in the matchups. You have to as a play caller, but obviously there will be times we try to maybe work DJ in a one-on-one, or maybe get our back on a linebacker if we like that matchup, or maybe get Keelan on a nickel if we like that matchup. So every week it's going to be dependent on who we're playing, who we want to work. We have to do a better job of that.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jordan. Let's do 2 final questions for Coach. Let's go Demetrius and then Shadrack.
Hey, Coach. Gardner's thrown the football 40+ times in the past 4 games. Do you feel like you guys are maybe putting a little bit too much on his plate?
Yeah. I think we've won one game and he threw the ball 20 times. We're really probably about 27 or 28 times because he had a couple scrambles in there and a couple sacks. So that's the ideal number for us. Unfortunately, score related, we weren't good enough on offense in the first 2 or 3 quarters to keep the game close where we didn't have to throw the ball. I feel like against Cincinnati, obviously against Miami, and then last week against Houston, you take a whole quarter out of the game as far as being able to run the football because you're playing behind, you're playing against the clock as well as the other team. That kind of skews the numbers. But in a perfect world, this offense is built on balance, and 25 to 30 times is the target number, in my opinion.
Are you guys confident in him enough to where you feel as though he can take over a game and be that guy that if you do need him to throw 40 times, he can lead the team to a victory? Or how do you feel?
I think depending on the game situation, sure. I think he can do it without a doubt. But I think every time you throw it, you're taking the ball out of James Robinson's hands, or maybe Lavisca, if he's in there, or Chris Thompson. I think we have a pretty good running game as well. So there's a lot of situations and a lot of plays that we have that we like to design for certain guys. And obviously, James running the football is not been used enough for us to be successful, without a doubt.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Let's go to JP for the last one.
Hey, Coach. A question. Obviously, the 4th and 1 play didn't work out how you wanted it to. Do you consider that a gadget play? And more of a big picture look at it, how long does it take to install something like that? And do you have something in your back pocket for a week or 2 and then pull it out at a different time as a play caller? How do you determine when to pull that out and use something like that?
Yeah, I had to ask one more question. Yeah, that's a play that I'll lose sleep over for many, many nights, and I regret calling, obviously. And it was a gadget play. We worked on it, really practiced with James, trying to sell it and get James O'Shaughnessy to the corner. We're hoping with the Wildcat formation that they would trigger the corner. They brought the safety out of the boxes, which we knew they would do. Unfortunately, we didn't sell the run good enough, and that was poor coaching on my part. So it wasn't James's fault. It wasn't either James's fault. That was my design fault. But it was something that we saw. Baltimore did a couple Wildcat snaps, direct snapped it to the running back, motion Lamar out. We felt like we had a pretty good look. Ideally, that's a 3rd and 1 call where you can go for it on 4th down, or maybe 4-minute where you're trying to steal the game. Not a 4th and 1 call. I should have left that in the hands of our offensive lineman and James Robinson, in my opinion, and I regret that dearly, just so you guys know.
Is that something, though, do you put something new in every week, or is it?
Yeah, we try to get a gadget or 2 in every week. We had the reverse and we had that play. We had another gadget dialed up, but didn't get it called. I think, right now we've had a trouble of getting big plays. I think the biggest play we've had is the post to Chris Conley last week against Houston on a broken play, basically. So we got to do a good job trying to manufacture some big plays. Maybe it's a trick play, but we got to get some chunks of yards somehow, some way. To take the pressure off these 15 to 18 play drives. One holding call, 1 sack, or 1 negative run in the running game can kill a drive. So it's something we got to try to do, whether it's play action, hitting some shots, maybe just throwing some go balls on the outside, or maybe it's a different type of play, a flea flicker or what have you. So it's something we're trying to do as coaches to try to get some big chunks of yards because we need them.
Bye.